I have an event tonight. This isn't for you. I have an event, and I'm already going to be late for the event. So when the show ended, I ran and I started to get dressed so that as soon as corrections is over, I can go to the event. Because it's bad enough I'm going to be late, but imagine the moment when my wife says, "What took you so long?" And I have to say, corrections. By the way, everybody last week was like, oh, in the comments, they're like, oh, we finally beat him. You don't beat me. I beat you. I said Great Gatsby took place in the Hamptons. In fact, the fictional towns of West Egg and East Egg were modeled on Cow Neck and Great Neck, which are in Long Island, and not in the Hamptons. I don't know anything about Cow Neck or Great Neck, but as with all things Long Island, I asked our security guys, John and Jim, about them. And as with every Long Island town I ask about, the only thing they could tell me is, oh, I wouldn't try to get there on Friday at 5. Oh, yeah, you don't want to go there Friday at 5. I'm like, all right. And if you're wondering if John and Jim like that shout out, oh, they're not here. We're recording this on Wednesday night. The Mets are currently playing the Phillies. It is 1-0 Phillies in the bottom of the sixth, and no one's here. Alex, can we take a shot of the audience real quick? You know, we've established recently that we're living in this universe is a construction of Buck's making. And so I saw him today, and I said, hey, big Mets game tonight. I hope you're pulling some strings. And he said, why? And I said, well, you know, just because a lot of people here are Mets fans. He goes, they are? And I said, yeah, everyone here is, like, why, if you didn't know that, like, why would you arrange to have Sal throw out the first pitch of the Mets game? Why would you do that if you didn't know he was a Mets fan? And he said, I just thought he was a fan of throwing. I said, why would you think that? He goes, everyone likes throwing. I just think, like, Buck has a lot of power. It just might be, like, impossible to harness it. Okay, here's a question I got. Dear Seth, I'm writing to corrections in hope of clarifying an aspect of an otherwise great joke about the Darmok episode of Star Trek The Next. Okay, so someone wrote in, Jesus wasn't white. That works for me. It was obviously in response to a graphic we put up, but you know what? That wasn't Jesus. That was just a picture. The Verizon customer service voice is male. But may I say, the fact that we made it female does not prove that I'm a victim of the woke mind virus. By the way, graphics, killer job. If you've been watching Closer Looks this week, the tag of the spinning head, very good. I'd like to do a new one. It's gonna be me, and then all of a sudden I'm gonna get surprised, like there's something in my mouth, and then I'm gonna open it, and I want you to make my head come out of my own mouth and then blow up like a balloon. Okay, so it'll be like this. Okay, so you got that part. And then my head will come up, and I want my head on the balloon, will be my face, to go, thanks for watching. Great. A lot of people said the audio was panned left in the last corrections. I guess when people listen to it, you know, with their high-end stereo systems. I think that's what a lot of people do with corrections. You know, Friday night, you know, put on their smoking jacket and turn on the hi-fi, listen to it. Anyway, yeah, everybody said it was panned to the left. Somebody said I was listening on headphones in my college dining hall, and I can only hear in the left headphone. But, you know, next time there's an audio problem in the dining hall, just, you know, take out the headphones. Let everybody hear it. Canker is a sore in the mouth. A chancre is a painless ulcer that appears as a symptom of the first stage of syphilis. And a chancre is a small blister you get from playing the sitar. Alex Moffat wrote a note that I read in corrections last week. He ended it PS and then PSS. Huge mistake. It's PPS. when you have a second after PS. It's postscriptum. I love, by the way, that Alex Moffat thought he could show up and just dip a toe in the corrections water and be done with it. You can't dip a toe in when it's a tub full of acid. Yo ho ho, Davy Jones Liquor. These are more nautical-themed porn titles. Somebody sent in Shiver, She's Limber, but that didn't really quite seem...
Chappie Roan. Is that something?
What?
Now that they know my name is Chappie, could Chappie Roan be a thing?
What sort of thing?
I don't know. I didn't think it through, but maybe it's something.
Like a sketch?
I don't know.
Can I get back to corrections?
I liked being in corrections last week.
That's great.
Because I'm not just the yipper guy. I do other things.
I do have to keep going.
Are you mad at me?
I'm not mad at you.
It's fine. It's cool. You can say that we are nothing but
Are you
know
singing
the truth.
Chapel Roan?
I told you it was something.
Here's the most Jackal joke. Not joke, Jackal comment about last week's corrections. Which, let me say, very well received. And I don't know until I read the comments. You know I read the comments, and I'm not making it up. People liked it. Best episode, this is the Jackal comment. Best episode ever of any show ever, 9 out of 10 stars. Gotta leave room for you. I knew this was gonna be a problem. Amber Ruffin and Amber says what? Said octopuses. And I knew everybody was gonna be like, it's actually octopi. I checked beforehand, because I don't want her to, have to deal with you. It's both are fine. You could also say octopodes, I guess, if you're trying to get, I don't know, laid at the Shed Aquarium. Octopodes is also acceptable. If you live in Staten Island and your name is Mike, Kristen. The Jets Steelers game, we have next week off. So the Jets Steelers game where Kenny and I have our bet we will know the outcome by the time we do the next corrections. It's 2 weeks from now. And things are not going well for either team. Kenny and I are both a little worried that the game's gonna be a tie. And I said, what if it's a tie? And Kenny goes, you gotta get my face tattooed on yours. Let me say something. I think we know, at this point we've established, Buck loves corrections. I just want to say something. This is true. When corrections started, it was 1-0. Phillies. 4-1 Mets. Over the course of this correction. Don't clap. Don't jinx it, Steve. It's not over. Jesus Christ. All right. I gotta go do my event. Again, this wasn't for you. See me in 2 weeks.